Hello, everybody, and welcome to Maximum Libertarian. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dean.
How's my signal? Because I'm having a little bit of issue. I'm in a different location tonight, so I've been a little jagged. I see that myself here on the screen is kind of jerky, so I apologize. This will get better within time. And first and foremost, thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and also click the notification bell. And then, Dean, what should they do?
Smash that button, man. Smash that.
Yeah, smash the like button and share this video with all your family and friends. So let's get on with it. Today's going to be a special episode. If you look down the screen there, you've got two Twitter handles. You've got We Are Max Lib and you got at Potato Shop PC. Both of them are podcasts that Potato Shop PC contains more pro wrestling, pop culture, MMA, things of that nature. Where We Are Max Lib is we try to stay on the political side. Well, I told Dean today, I said, I'm going to make it a special one because this Sunday is going to be The Undertaker's 30th year in the WWE. And I think that's a tremendous thing for most guys. Don't get to that level and stay there that long.
Exactly.
What do you think about that, Dean?
It's amazing. I mean, that's my childhood wrestler. I mean, that's who I grew up with. He was my favorite wrestler from day one in WCW. And when I seen him as Mean Mark Callis, and he was one of the skyscrapers, and then to be in the WWE and just blow up to what he has become now over his 30 years, which makes me feel ancient career. Truly a legend in the business. Truly wants to continue to help the business, believe it or not, and truly is probably the greatest character ever created for the WWE, WWF, ever. I mean, just a fascinating character who changed to keep himself relevant. Just an amazing career. And I'm a big fan of his. That's my favorite wrestler. That was my favorite wrestler and is my favorite wrestler. So, kind of good he's hanging up his boots because I don't want to see him getting more injured than he already has.
He's definitely banged up. So let's right now, first, and before we go into any more Undertaker talk and just the fun side of the business, let's go into what I wanted to discuss today. And we've talked about it before. Andrew Yang, and he has said that if Joe Biden wins, that the WWE, MMA, like UFC, Bellator, they're going to be facing him, and he's going to be bringing unions or the Ali Act in. And this past weekend, a manager, a valet, I don't say she's more of a manager, Selena Vega, tweeted she was released because of this whole third-party nonsense that the WWE has decided to do. Not allowing them to be there. My question to you is, what do you think about it? Because once she signed up to OnlyFans.com, I believe. She said there's going to be no nudes there, but it's a third-party thing. WWE said, well, you're done. Future endeavors. And then she went to Twitter and posted, I support unionization. So what do you think about that, Dean?
Quite frankly, she was a great talent. Gonna be a loss for them. It's kind of stupid that Vince can't get over his ego and allow them, like I said before, to have third party abilities to gain money since they are not a employee but a what do you call that? They are basically contracted employees, a private contractor. So the fact that OnlyFans. The fact that do OnlyFans and not do nudes was kind of weird because a lot of people go to that site for that purpose. It's an adult.
Correct.
And she's going to charge $1,000 or something for just cosplay, which is weird too. But make your money where you can. And I think WWE made a mistake. I think it's going to end up in another organization named AEW. She was a great heel. Did a good job. She was a good wrestler. I give her that credit. She's a good wrestler, and WWE is just being stupid.
Well, she could wind up in multiple places. She could wind up in AEW, she could wind up in NWA, or she could wind up in Impact Wrestling. The
Yep.
thing that's weird is that professional wrestlers are considered independent contractors. And as much as I understand unions, and I think unions can play a good thing to help workers, the problem is what I've seen with the unions of late, pretty much all they do is they will back Democrats, and them Democrats are not saving American worker jobs. They also inflate the prices, make it more costly for a business to do business here, and in turn, what you see is they move the company overseas or whatever to that nature. Now, that
What
being
you just
said, I would
described,
like to see
what you just described, Ryan, is socialism.
in what aspect, like them helping businesses or
Unions,
helping the worker.
being progressive. They all vote one way, trying to centralize the way the
Well,
business runs.
now the way that they vote, yes, the one way, helping the worker out. Like, look, the WWE's been around long enough. They should have buses to move wrestlers from left to right to wherever they need to go. Get them on an airplane, fly them to wherever. Like a circus, Ringling Brothers, when they do uh, the circus, they would all travel together and different folks. So in turn, I'm really shocked that the WWE never had anything like that. And that's
Right.
with this idea with the third party, it's going to really hamper them. And I think it's going to make people look at them and go, these females were making more on Twitch, YouTube, on whatever, OnlyFans, whatever. They were making more there than they did with their WWE contract.
Absolutely.
And in turn, now you're stripping them of it, and you're saying, well, we're going to put it on the downside of their contract. That's not the contract that they signed. So in turn, you're going to have someone like Andrew Yang, who's never ran a WWE or MMA, and he's going to come in and he's going to say, well, we're going to regulate it, and it's going to change the business, I think.
You know what? Who he should have hired? You know who Vince should hire?
Who?
Trump. He understands the business.
And yeah, but the problem is we're going to have to do is make sure the wrestlers and the fighters are properly paid. Does that make
Yep.
sense?
And he probably won't do
And
that. He'll be like Vince, money hungry.
right.
I mean, some people lost. Some people lost. I mean, think about it. Vince let go of XFL, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson picked it up. I mean, there's been some pretty stupid mistakes made by Vince, and having
Yeah,
a union
but
is not going to be helpful.
let me just say this. I don't know if The Rock picking up the XFL was really a stupid mistake, because I honestly believe that was a money loser. And I think The Rock wanted to pick something up where he could write it off on his taxes.
It's possible too, because he's a
That's
Biden supporter.
true. And I think that's what his big plans are. Now, one thing that I found interesting was once when Selena Vega sent out her tweet, SAG, which is the actors union,
Guild,
and
yeah.
they reached out. The president reached out to her and said, "We support you too." I can honestly see professional wrestlers signing up to that quicker than I can see them forming their own union, considering McMahon has done his. I mean, he's worked tirelessly to make sure professional wrestlers are considered entertainers, not wrestlers.
Yep, I have that up. I have that article up too.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Let me add that to the
That's
stream.
cool. There's Zelina Vega.
Yep, there she is. Like I said, I do think wrestlers should be getting more proper. What are you highlighting there? What do you help me out?
You're talking about the SAG. Basically.
Okay. And I do think the wrestlers should get a little bit more help when it comes to this stuff. UFC's done the same exact thing. They took away the sponsorship when these fighters were getting six-figure sponsorships, and then they're like, "Well, we're going to give you $2,500 with Reebok." You never really heard. Yeah, there's always going to be people wanting more money, but boy, once they did that type of stuff, it just ran them off, and then it makes them look bad because they're a billion-dollar company.
Yep. Unbelievable.
So, how do you think this ends?
How's what?
How does this end? Does a union get formed by the wrestlers, or do they join the SAG, or what?
I think they're going to. I think SAG may help them, but I think if they create their own union for themselves, I mean, think about it. They had Wrestlers Court, and it was a locker room leader, and it still is in a lot of ways in the wrestling business. With Undertaker was that point at one point, but if he's been out of, I think there need to be a group that gets together in the wrestling business that controls. They get together and come up with a plan of to go against Vince and say, hey, if there's a collective group of 50 wrestlers that say, hey, this is what we want, what's Vince going to fire them all? He won't have a product. I mean, there's power in numbers. So the more wrestlers they could do that, the better. And it wouldn't cost them a lot of money if they created their own union versus going to an existing one, which we know have, union dues that are out the yin yang. I do think that there's a lot of good that could be done if a group of them got together and demanded some of these on contracts. Because, like I said, you don't have a product, you don't have enough talent out there to pull in to replace your good people, Roman Reigns, your Randy Ortons, and like I said, there was a locker room leader that kept those people in line for a long time. It was the Undertaker. We talked about that. If somebody got out of line,
Well,
you got straightened out.
but the thing is, what you got when it comes to trying to start a union with folks that are like WWE, UFC, whatever, you're having the Undertaker gets thrown $100,000, and then there's word of a union coming along. They could throw him more money, and then he's going to be like, "Well, hell, I want that extra money." It's a dog eat dog world.
And true, and I would say this right now: the Undertaker wouldn't be one of those to join the union because his loyalty to Vince McMahon. He's more a businessman when it comes to that side of the business.
Right, I think.
Future.
Well,
there's already been articles out there that say he's going to probably work with NXT talent and work with them to become better, a better product. That's what's needed. But for some wrestlers should have a minimum. There should be a minimum standard of what they should be paid, even at the lowest level, like year 1 through 2. If you don't get to these, you don't get into the big leagues. Per se, you're a B level or C level wrestler. I call those, jobbers or stuff like that. You make this much money. You know what you expect when you walk in that ring. If you got a storyline that's even better, there's another bump. There's a bump in pay as your character becomes bigger. And they should know that, you know what I'm saying? They should know that when they come in, that there is a expectation to get better and to draw more people and sit with the writers, because the writers are awful too. Sit with the writers, come up with better based storylines, because storytelling is what they're failing on right now. Versus,
right.
Their stories are terrible. There's good stories right now. This whole Bray Wyatt and the whole Bray Wyatt theme thing is really good. I thought about the other night. It kind of gets a comparison between the Undertaker, mixed between the Undertaker's character, where it was scary and mythical, and mixing Mick Foley in there, where there was multiple faces of that individual. So it's really a good product, and if they treat it right, will be a very successful product and move them into the future. You have people like Alexa Bliss in. You might grab Nikki Cross, who's a B or C type wrestler, and add her to the mix. And then she, in my idea, would if they had base lines, would make more money based on that storyline becoming good.
But what you usually would get was, it used to be, if when like they would hire you for a base salary, and then they would sell merchandise with you and the merchandise, you would get a kickback from the merchandise. Some folks got more than others, like John Cena got more than probably R-Truth, and that was how they paid them a lot. Well, now house shows are down and house shows are gone. But what's going to happen is these unions are going to show up and they're going to say, like, hey, you just signed a massive deal with Fox. Well, the ratings are down. They have no house show now. So in turn, what's going to happen is they're going to start paying wrestlers more. And either they're going to release a lot of them, or they're really going to become independent contractors and they're only going to have certain ones who can't go nowhere. And then the other ones are going to be, show up on occasion.
The easiest fix is to allow them to do the third party stuff.
That would be that. No, that's exactly what they should do. And it's just like UFC should allow sponsorships. And if you did that, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion because no one would be complaining.
Look at Brock Lesnar.
Right.
He was able to wear Jimmy John's, things like that.
Right. So
and he's a draw for both the wrestling and the MMA crowd. I mean, there's multiple wrestlers that are MMA based. Matt Riddle, another perfect example. He did MMA. He was not known very well for that, or Shayna Baszler, but their moves in the wrestling ring, they should be compensated for their abilities, the abilities to sell.
Well, I wouldn't pay anyone for their ability to just because they can do really good looking moves. What I'd be paying them for, if you get pay-per-view buys, if you get buys when you do a live event, that's when you really pay an individual. And see, that's how it used to be.
Shoot. If I got paid $100 per time that Lana was thrown through a table by Nia Jax, I'd have $1,000 right now in the last couple weeks.
Okay, I haven't watched the show.
That's what I'm saying. She goes through the table every week, and I think that's actually this is another thing. That's a backlash towards Rusev, who jumped ship and went to another industry, which is her husband, which is Miro now, over in AEW. I think she's being punished for being the wife of somebody that's in a different industry. Kind of like what's going on with Chelsea Green. Like, she legitimately got hurt. But she's supposed to be on the SmackDown team. But she's married to with Zack Ryder at the time in WWE. So you have all these people that when they jump ship, they're paying the piper for their significant others. Right. Which brings a whole other thing. Should they allow relationships within the industry?
No. That would.
But it's been there for a long time. Think about it. Triple H, Stephanie.
No. But I'm not going to put that in no contract. You're just asking for trouble.
Not at all.
Because if you, there's a wonderful documentary called Lipstick and Dynamite about the female professional wrestlers. When the business was down, they would bring female wrestlers into the town to boost ticket sales. But now the thing was, the guy and lady, I can't remember who they were, but they would not even they would keep all the money, and then they would give the ladies a few bucks, and then they would also encourage for them to become lesbians, so that way they wouldn't fall in love with some guy in some town and get married and have a kid. So they would say, "Hey, turn into a lesbian." It was a very good documentary. It's got Fabulous Moolah. It's got what's her name? The lady May. Was it Mae Young? Yeah. Yep. So awesome. Lipstick and Dynamite. Check it out. But all right. So we're done with the union talk. So anyone that's done, you can go read the article. It's down in the description below. We would ask for you to do that. So now let's just roll into, for the final 5-10 minutes, we're just going to talk professional wrestling and The Undertaker, because this is going to be his final, I guess, possibly event for the WWE.
I brought up another thing off of Google of some images of The Undertaker, in case people don't know who The Undertaker is. He goes by the name of Mark Calloway. That's his real name. Multiple versions of him over a period of time. There's Brock Lesnar. We talk about Brock Lesnar. Multiple ways that he has done some incredible matches. Shawn Michaels, Hart match, Goldberg, wasn't great. His Boneyard match that he just did, that was his final match, which really went out well. Told a great story. We'll come back to storytelling. That's your storytelling to a T.
Now,
This is probably one of the best matches to ever happen with the Hell in the Cell. Some
now
older
did
pictures.
is he not going to wrestle at Survivor Series?
Who, The Undertaker?
Yeah.
No, he's supposed to show up and just it's basically be a celebratory thing of his life.
You want me to tell you what I think is going to happen? And I'm just fantasy booking here. Undertaker is going to show up, and then Sting's going to come out, and that's going to start a build up to Sting versus Undertaker. And I understand that Sting had a neck injury, but I believe he made some comment about he could go one more time, possibly. And I foresee that there's going to be a Sting Undertaker match.
Yep.
Not that I want to see it.
Here's the second one right there.
Because
Bray Wyatt.
Which one?
The Fiend. That's the second possible.
No, I don't see. No one's ever clamored for a Bray Wyatt rematch with the Undertaker, but people have always talked about the Sting Undertaker match, and with the WrestleMania is going to have to sell because, let's be honest, the viewership's not. Look, I haven't been a subscriber to the WWE Network in months, and if not years, and now because the Undertaker's finale, I'm checking it out, And
here's the other thing. Quite frankly, I would love it that he doesn't. Yeah, here we go. Sting. If you don't know who Sting is, that's Sting. That's the Undertaker. Thing is, he can't be this dead man anymore. He has to be the American Badass dead man.
No, he could be that dead man if he wanted to.
It just would make no sense, though.
No, it wouldn't.
But since when has the Undertaker? Since when has it made sense? It's been a long time.
There's a lot of things. Right, and I wish Undertaker's really been around for a long time. He got a hip replacement, knee replacements. I mean,
29 surgeries. That's the Undertaker actually dressed up in a suit. That's something you don't see very often. But there's a truth behind that too. You never know. He may be, them corporate guys in the back now with Vince. So you don't know what really is in favor there.
I really do hope to see something good and positive come out of it, though.
I mean, I'd rather see him actually retire and do work, have him work with the people in the back. I'd rather see that than any more wrestling. Big names are supposed to be there. A bunch of his BSK or Bone Street Crew are supposed to be there. I'm thinking they're doing more of a celebration. Right. I don't think there's gonna. I really hope there isn't a twist to this where he's gonna still wrestle. I really hope it's this farewell. Yeah, bring him back like it did Shawn Michaels if they think something could be good. Once in a blue moon type of thing.
I would never bring Thunder. He's so banged up, and I've never watched the Shawn Michaels match where he and Triple H teamed up. But from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I heard it wasn't that good.
Yeah, we don't need anything like my thing is we don't need anything like what happened with Goldberg to ever happen again. So he really needs to stick out and stay out.
Right.
And let it be retirement. Let him be with family. And as long as he's with family and still does, it would be much better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let him do stuff behind the scenes. Do some once in a blue moon. He comes out and is a special attraction. But let him be where he is. I think Kane's right. I think Kane's right behind him. I don't think you'll see him wrestle anymore.
No, well, he's done a couple spots since he became the mayor of Knoxville, and no, I don't foresee Kane making any more trips down the road. If he does, he'll be special walk in, walk out. Well, I guess he did. He pinned R-Truth, won the 24/7 title.
Yep.
While they were in Knoxville, I think, at one time. So
I don't think you would be seeing stuff like this on social media. That's the Undertaker before he was in WWE. I don't think you'd be seeing so much personal stuff coming out if he wasn't really going to hang it up.
right,
I mean, the fact that he's doing podcasts with Stone Cold in his normal character, doing stuff outside WWE, and he's also, doing a lot of family stuff and talks about family. The fifth part of that last ride thing was really told a lot. Like when his brother died right before WrestleMania, it made him realize how important family was. And I think that plays a lot into why I think he's going to definitely retire instead of continue to move forward in a storyline. I can't really see that. I'd rather see him, like I said,
Right.
he's interested in working backstage in NXT at the Performance Center once in a while because he can go back and forth between there and Texas, be with his
Right.
family. And I think the best bet for him is be a family man and help the new guys because you know what? They need all the help they can get from some of the best. And
Yes,
Triple H is pretty much as would be happy with, as what I read, is be happy with him being one of the people that trains, especially with character development, because character development is piss poor right now.
Right.
And what better person to do character development than the Dead Man, than the best character to ever set foot in WWE?
Yep. So we're at the 26-minute mark, Dean. I think we're going to call it. Thank you all for joining us. Please follow us on Twitter at WeAreMaxLib. If you're on the YouTube channel still, please click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and Dean, what should they do?
Smash that like button. Now, also make sure you see at the bottom of the screen here, WeAreMaxLib. Go ahead and go over to Potato Shop PC on Twitter. That's where you can find more of the wrestling, MMA stuff that Brian
Correct.
and his brother involved with. That's really good stuff to definitely go over and look at, especially if you like today's episode of our Maximum Libertarian podcast. And I'll say one more thing to end this.
What's that?
Rest in peace.
Good night, everybody.